I don't know if you guys realize who we have on here right now. I'm going to introduce everybody to basically the team members who are behind the scenes that we have available here tonight. We're going to be looking at some work. We want to look at work. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through recent submission work from you all and chat about it, sort of like we did in the old days around the light table when stuff came in as negative form and you had the loop and you just, wow, look at this image, and people would get around it like, that's really nice, too bad it's not in focus, or things like that. It was all kind of fun and kind of a community. That's what we want to do with these, absolutely. And we're really fortunate that we have folks, well, Stephen just left, but Stephen Crowley, Michael Keating, Pete Maravich is here, Charlie Borst, Molly Roberts. I think that's our group tonight. I haven't seen Kathleen come in, but Kathleen Curtis is taking part in a lot of this as well. And who else do we have in our group? Did I hit everybody? Is that everyone? Yeah.
Nikki, but we haven't seen her lately.
Nikki Kahn's looking at work from afar as well. And I don't know if you guys know the names and realize who's behind all this and looking at your work, but the group that will give some insight tonight, a pretty good bunch of people to have looking at your work. So from this point of view, it's pretty nice to have your work up there and part of this project, but also to have the feedback and have people looking at this stuff and giving you some tips, some critique, some cheer, a cheering team behind you. So I hope you appreciate it. It's pretty cool. Anything that the team want to talk about tonight before what I'm going to do, I'm just going to open up the library and share a screen and go through folders. And we as a curating team will look at this work and we'll offer some words and things like that. And if that seems like a good plan, this is what we kind of had as a plan. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to look at a lot of your work. Molly, Pete, Stephen, Michael, Charlie, any words before we get started?
Let's look at work.
Okay, so you guys, if we're going through this, and feel free to chime in, jump in with questions, jump in with ideas. This project came in from Joey, and you're here, right, with us right now?
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what you're working on here.
Okay, yeah, this is actually my mom and stepfather. So I was interested in just documenting their journey, especially focusing on the faith aspect and them adapting to the online church, because that's something that's extremely important in their lives, is religion. So I tried to show changes and other things going on in their lives.
Was this something that was easy for you to jump in on because you have a little bit of relationship going on already, or was it a tough thing because of the relationship factor?
I think it was easy because I've documented them before. I've taken pictures of them a lot, so it was really just the nature, and they were used to it.
And now I think Molly has been running the show on this edit, correct?
No, everybody has sort of gotten involved in this. I think Stephen took a look at it. I took a look at it. And I believe Michael did it as well, or Charlie. So I think Joey's gotten a lot of feedback from people to, variety in the, some of this is new and wasn't in here when I first looked at it. Some of the you know, the family moving out into the community, into the grocery stores and stuff wasn't in this portfolio when I first looked at it. Right, Joey?
That's all right.
Yeah, and
Because-
if I can jump in, I mean, he's done this is a really good example of somebody listening to critiques from all of us. I mean, one of the suggestions I gave Joey was, you know, get out. There's too much of them in the house, and from what I've seen, you've done a good job of getting out of showing them in transitional moments outside of the house and what their life looks like outside of the dining room and the living room. So props to you for this.
Thank you. I also did kind of like an expansion outside of the two of them to like the wider community. I went to like some other churches that did an outdoor service and things like that. That was submitted in a different batch, so that's not here.
Okay, we can take a look at that probably.
I mean, the really tough problem with this, of course, is you're photographing something that by its very nature is unphotographical, right? It's somebody's faith. So you have to, I mean, if you can just pause on that, if you can go back to that. I love the way you've got the hands down here, which are nice.
Yeah, very nice.
You've done a good job of kind of finding some moments that show who these people are and what their faith and connectivity is.
The thing that I've not seen these before, so that I think is kind of a good thing. I'm just looking at them and reacting to them. But what you have recognized here is what we've said time and time again. It is the everyday existence that will be powerful in the long run, because we'll be seeing what it was like then, because there'll be no reference to it. And I'm going to go back to Crowley's reference to the shoebox full of pictures that somebody pulls out of the closet 30 years after something. And each one of those pictures is a treasure at that point. And it's hard to see right now that these will become that. When you're 50 and you look at these pictures and you'll kind of go, oh my. What I'm seeing in it is that they have a really strong relationship. What I will hope to see, I guess, is this progress from the other pictures that you mentioned that we're not seeing in this. So I take it at one point everybody was isolated, and now the world is starting to get a little larger as they venture out. Do not give up on this. This is a good story, and it will have what every story needs: a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Beck, can you pause it? Can you go back one frame? I mean, I love this frame. This is them reacting to just putting down the family dog, right?
Right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I mean, this is a powerful kind of interpersonal moment.
And this is one photo.
Oh,
I'll be a bit of a devil's advocate here. This is one of the photos through this selection of work. It's kind of off center, even though he's centered in the frame with the mask. That's perfect. A lot of the work is centered when you go through it, and it becomes kind of similar if you start to look at everything. I love this image. This is one of my favorite images. It's showing people, but not the same as having people around a table. So
Exactly.
it's different, but you see it's virtual. All this is coming together, but you know that there were people involved because, you know, they were eating. But it's different than just having them sitting around the table, such as that. I think the picture that you have right here is that picture. I think it's wonderful. It's great. But again, centered somewhat, but that hand, and this is great, but I think this picture there tells the story. It puts you into the center of, this was the pandemic time, the hardcore time of the shelves were bare. And it's different. It's different than all these other photographs of a person centered in the frame. And you throw that mix into this nice little tight edit, and it has a roller coaster feel to it. So it's not just going to be this linear like boom, 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 boom. There's going to be a flow to it. I like that. And that's just a great point picture right there.
Yeah.
Have you photographed them throughout the seasonal change too? Because I think what you'll see at some point, the clothing will change. The sweatshirt and hoodie will be replaced with a t-shirt. That also gives you that sense of time passage. Maybe not obviously at this moment, but going forward it will.
Yeah, I think this picture here is a quiet moment. You have a couple really nice emotional quiet moments. And this, for some reason, just jumps at me. I like it.
I think maybe also what's needed is I don't see any really close details. You know, everything is sort of a medium.
Can I go back to that variety shot? I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just didn't want to. The one where he's inside the store that you just showed, not the one you like, the other one.
The one I like.
Gotcha. I'll get to it.
The phone?
I'm sorry, Molly. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just.
Oh, he's got the
this one here.
Yeah.
So whenever you're in a situation like this, like the black humor of this is variety, and there's really not much variety. It's all empty shelves. So that makes a great detail shot. It makes a great overall. It makes a, you know, with or without the gentleman in the picture, I would just focus on the irony of variety, the word variety, and here's all these miles of, you know, this little clump of
Empty shelves.
Of bread amongst all these empty shelves. So when you see stuff like this, this is these little bits of irony to keep your eye out on. It's a nice little pause in the sequence of pictures.
And you could just crop it. I mean, the fresh part doesn't play as well.
Joe, you might.
Variety part.
That's a good point.
And I do like
this is
you
another
know,
shot. It doesn't have anything to do with the God story, but for our grand overall piece, I think looking at things like this.
Well, it kind of does. Daily bread, right? Give us our. How's the prayer go? Sorry, I'm a fallen Catholic. I can't. Give us our daily bread, and you know he's trying to get his daily bread.
Yeah,
and
well,
there's nothing there.
Yeah. That'd be a great little caption under it. Give us his daily bread, but I think just in any kind of irony or little touch of dark humor that you see out there is a kind of, you know, B matter that that would help pull the story, the whole, you know, story along. So.
Yeah, I would just crop it, lose some of the top and some of the right, and just.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could work like that, lose some of the top and the right, yeah, and it would still work, but.
That's what's really nice about having the ability to edit this into a story and have multiple people look at it and just throw these ideas into the mix. It's just.
But we might see more stuff like this. Like I said, just keeping these details, you know, these little dark humor. I'm repeating myself again. But.
Okay, I'd like to ask Joey.
Anyway. Joey,
defend your crop.
This one?
Yes, defend your crop. I want to know what you saw in this. That's where you begin to feel. What were you trying to say? Does cropping it make it better? I don't know. Maybe I have my opinion on that. Maybe I don't. But it's your work and you cropped it this way. Is that full frame? Give us a little background.
I think this is just the full frame.
Okay.
I thought the openness and showing more of the emptiness would convey, like, it's really just a couple loaves and there's a lot that's empty. So that's why I was trying to get it really wide.
I think that's good because it's important to know what's in your mind when you're seeing this, because you are there and this is your story that you're trying to tell. Now, there may be better ways or not, but always look at it and say, okay, well, I accept what your criticism is. And this isn't about just this picture. It's about all your work. Be prepared when you think it's appropriate to defend why you did something. because that's part of the learning experience.
Yeah, and I agree with him too. I mean, if you do crop it, I think you want to leave as much as the empty shelf as you can, along with the variety word, because that's the dark humor, as Crowley put it.
Well, I think it's great. I think it's awesome. I mean, actually, now that I look at it, I like that image back there better. That's just it's a nice way of being able to go through your work multiple times, and you get so used to seeing it if you're editing it yourself, and then you bring other people into it, and you get a different look, and you're not looking at it down a straw and just seeing it in one viewpoint. So I'd really recommend showing your work to a lot of people and getting their feedback. And just that variety idea from Stephen is just brilliant. And being able to have multiple looks at your work is, you know, the biggest advice you can probably take away from a lot of this.
Well, and not to be the odd guy out here, but I'll be the odd guy out. I actually like the other shot better.
I think it really depends on the edit and how it all comes together too, and how the flow happens. You may go one way and you may say, you know what, everything looks like this. Maybe I do have to go the other way. And, you know, it comes to that flip of the coin sometimes.
Yep.
Well, great job.
Well done.
We're really happy to have that in here. Now I'm going to take a look at, this is Whitney's. And I think Whitney just shot this weekend, correct?
Yes, I did.
Now, tell us about this. What do we have here? What are we looking at?
So this is a lot of different things converging at once. I tried, I don't know if I succeeded, but this family of one of my coworkers, if you pause right here, so the woman at the bottom of the stairs, her name is Lauren, and she was getting married to her husband, her now husband, Romeo, who was in the first shot. And it was a convergence of a couple different things. She's a nursing student, and she's about ready to do her clinical rotations. So they were originally going to have like a huge wedding. Her husband's from Rwanda, and so they wanted like they were going to have an enormous like 400-person wedding. And then she decided, they both decided, okay, yeah, that's Romeo. They decided that time was of the essence. They were, she was concerned about her health when she does go back to work. So they decided to get married and planned it within 6 weeks. And I knew, like I said, I knew her through a mutual friend, and she called me and said, hey, I'm getting married in my backyard. What do you think about shooting this? And I said, I'll shoot it, but I want to, I don't know if I did it, but like somewhere between like wedding photography and cinema veritas. Normally when I do documentary photography, it looks more like that. And I asked them, I said, well, do you mind that I'm going to be taking it in a direction that is like that photo of her fixing his boutonniere versus, the beautiful gilded preset that, weddings are known for, that everyone's bathed in like rose gold light. And I was like, I don't know how to do that. So they were all on board. They invited me into their home. There were probably 5 people total at the wedding, plus a few observers. And they let me in completely for 2 days, and it was a really, really cool experience. So I can tell you what any of these mean if you have any questions about it.
I'll let Stephen jump on this. Stephen, you want to run point on this?
You're muted. You're muted.
I'm sorry, I keep coughing. I've had a cold for a year, but I'm almost over it. No, excuse me, I love it.
Are you? Oh gosh.
I think it really works. It's like, this is really poignant. I think the fence really works here. Keep going here. I don't have any way to. Yeah, very nice.
Nice.
Yep. So what's your lead picture here, Whitney? I mean, if we could only use one picture, what's the one picture in here that says it all, in your opinion?
I knew you were going to ask me that. I would say it's a tie between that one. And
this one here?
Yeah, this one right here. And I would say the one where her mom's taking a picture of her. Or maybe, I don't know, this one, a lot of people from around the world were watching, so they set up both an iPad and a camcorder, and this was them talking to everybody. So I would say, normally when you see a wedding, you're seeing bridesmaids and groomsmen and the parents, everybody's touching. No one was touching here. Everybody was maintaining, 6 feet of distance. That, to me, looks like the opposite of what a modern wedding has come to mean. And then little touches like this, that's her sister adjusting her veil, coming in from the right of the frame and stuff like that. So little touches were very unusual because nobody was touching each other. So I really like to go after when people were, and then her mom can't touch her. So the next best thing is to do this. So.
Okay, I just lost my picture here.
I like this a lot.
Yeah, that photograph there, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, I wonder if there's anything even wider showing the neighborhood. Anything.
There is, yeah.
That would be, I mean, I love this picture right here, but when you said that picture right there, I've just been reading this this book on the FSA and pictures from, the FSA project back in the 30s and early 40s. And these are the pictures you see because of just the format of lens you saw, people with 35 millimeters and 50 millimeter lenses. And this is a picture I think will stand up 100 years from now. People are going to look at this picture and like, oh, it's a pandemic wedding. It has all the elements to it. And it's just, it's a beautiful photograph that tells the story.
Jack, can we put that in the gallery?
Sure.
It's like a Soth picture.
I love that photo.
Soth, I'm not sure how you say his name, but it's a nice photo.
Yeah.
Now, Whitney, you shoot a lot of your work is in black and white, and is there a reason that you feel that this is really strong in the black and white, or how does it look in color to you?
I tried that, and I do, yeah, I normally, really quickly, that's Romeo's father, his late father, so he was showing me a little locket that he had that he was keeping with him during the ceremony.
Nice.
No, that's a wonderful detail
Yeah,
picture.
nice detail.
That's a wonderful detailed picture, nice and graphic, and that's wonderful. Yeah.
You can't go wrong with a lined hand. I mean,
Yeah,
that was
beautiful.
my first time shooting. I shot with a Tamron 2470, and I'd never changed lenses before, so I was learning as I went. And it was nice to work with everybody who was so open to whatever it is that I wanted to do, so that was nice. But black and white, I don't know. I skewed a little bit away from it when I was covering protests and stuff last year and then early into this year. But for this, it felt like it needed to be in black and white, at least for, that's her in front of her wedding dress. And that's his boutonniere next to her Coke. I don't know, black and white felt appropriate. It doesn't have to be in black and white. When I was trying to edit, I was really lowering the exposure because there was a lot of darkness, like there were a lot of shadows. It was a pretty cloudy weekend this past weekend in Ohio, in Dayton. So I was playing with those shadows, but to me, I don't know, I just like the feel of black and white, but I would like to do it again in color, especially a photo like that, where there's a lot of like deep reds, deep blues, things like that, yeah.
I would love, I love diptychs, so that little hand with the flowers, with the hand with the locket.
yeah.
That's an interesting picture too.
Yeah, she was, in this one, she was moving furniture because she and her mom and her sister were gonna make like so many bouquets, and she put her hand down, and they were sweating because, like I said, it was humid and
oh,
hot.
you're kidding. Oh my God.
That was her sweat, and I was like, Lauren, wait. And then I took that.
Great.
Wow.
Well, the one thing I've been hearing just from the work that a lot of the stuff that's being produced out of the Boyd Station project and things, the one note that I get from a lot of people, and I've been hearing that a lot about New York Times as well, the photo galleries. A lot of viewers I'm hearing from there like, yeah, we know when I go to the New York Times, I have to hit the brightness, and you'll see people doing this on their displays.
Yes.
And they just know that they're like, yeah, what's going on at the New York Times lately or the Washington Post? Every time I go to a gallery, I have to hit this.
Yes.
And viewers are starting to notice that. I don't think it's anything to, divert from your style or what you're trying to accomplish, but just be aware that that is out there. And depending on who you're looking to market or sell work to, you may have to have this as a backup and ready to show in color to an editor who would say, hey, we're USA Today and we'd love to publish this, but we publish pretty much everything in color.
Absolutely.
So just, just FYI. But
I'm unclear. Were these converted from color files to black and white?
Yes. I shoot in color always. And then I convert it. Yeah.
I'm interested to know your process. What did you do? Did you just desaturate, or did you pick a black and white filter, presets? What did you use?
Normally I just do the regular black and white filter. This time I did the preset of flat in Lightroom. I don't know if people used it. And I wasn't sure if flat was going to be appropriate because again, it skews really dark. However, I think it did kind of give it a little bit of an older feel, while also incorporating, because this is her wedding day and I still wanted to incorporate a little bit of I don't know, a little bit of romance. I don't even know if it translated, but so that's how dark I went. But some of the other edits, I went a lot lighter. So yeah.
Sure. Okay, I'm really curious. What's the one picture which it looks like? Is that makeup being applied? Or is her eye wet? What's the story here?
Oh yeah. If we could go back to that.
Is it back? Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's.
Let me find it this way. Easier.
There we go. Yeah, so that's her sister, Kristen, and she's applying, applying concealer to her face. And actually Romeo's standing at the top of the stairs. They didn't want him to see her. You don't want to see the bride before the wedding. So those are his legs at the top of the stairs in the mirror. And then she was applying concealer and I pulled my camera away and I was like, Lauren, I just took a picture of you without your makeup on and your concealer isn't even, smoothed out yet. And she said, no, keep it. Like I said, this was a very open family. They liked how that looked better. Yeah.
Well, I was just wondering if she was crying.
No, there are other photos where she is crying, but not in that one, no.
Okay, I got you.
So a lot of people without the caption would say, man, I really wish you didn't have that guy standing up there at the stairs with those legs.
Yeah.
But if that's in the caption, I mean, that's what makes that picture work, is that it's Romeo's legs. And
yes.
That's where you need your captions to be perfectly clear. And wow, that's a remarkable image right there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that image and the fence overall with the house of them standing there, sort of like standing there on their wedding day. Those two images, the detail, that's just tremendous work. And then all the behind the scenes. I mean, this could be a tight edit or a loose edit like it is right now is fine.
I think it's a wonderful story. I mean,
good story.
It also has that little, how's Rwanda dealing with COVID? I mean, there might be a little caption information to throw in there about that too, but anyway.
Yeah, captions.
Yeah, it might, this would be a good essay. Yeah.
You know what makes this picture so nice? So many people shoot a detail of the hand and they try to clean it up. They try to just to show the hand. What makes this so successful is all this up here and all this. It's not just the hand. You have the legs, you have all this. It's just not a dead on center picture of a hand holding an iconic piece of, jewelry or something. This is so alive around the edges, and that's really an accomplished photograph right there.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, it's really cool to see that you've taken a situation that's normally romanticized and you've just done a really solid, beautiful documentary project on it. Really great.
Yeah, I think that picture right there is going to stand up for the time. It's that's classic.
Thank you. Oh, thank you guys. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Keep shooting.
Yeah, don't forget to put that in the essay, Jack.
Will do.
Thanks.
Now we have a couple. You edited a couple small. Let's see. If you have these in here. You're on tonight, aren't you, Akash?
Hi.
What's going on, man? Good talking with you.
Yeah, so I've been like traveling. So I got a new job with Life Touch in Denver. So I've been like traveling to schools that are like far away from Denver. So I had to like travel 300 miles. So on my way, I'm trying to reach these small neighborhoods and towns where I could I'm trying to figure out like remove time for myself and like shoot some images. So that's how I met Frank McPherson. He's the only store owner over there. And like no one's really worried about COVID in like small neighborhoods like that, like 50 residents or like 100 residents. No one wears masks. Everyone is so close. They still meet on daily basis. So that was kind of interesting. So I was thinking to visit back and forth to the small neighborhoods and take more images. So these I've taken in at like Denver downtown. Wherever I see, I couldn't see anyone without a mask. So you're not allowed into a store without a mask. So that was kind of interesting. So this like new kind of a style where without a mask, you're not allowed to go anywhere. Just like even the mannequins, you see the mannequins with the mask. So that's so like interesting for me. In this image, I felt like the juxtaposition, you see one mannequin without it and one with it. So I found it like very interesting.
That is a really interesting photo. You're absolutely right. And something a lot of us would just walk right on by. This is
She's wearing a face mask on the other side, right? On the left.
Yeah.
Is that a plastic shield on the left and a mask on the right?
No, I think it's just her hair.
Yeah, it's just a hair.
It's a weird hairdo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Page Boys style.
This is a Stephen Crowley photo if I've ever seen one right here. I think that's a great find right there. That is.
Yeah, and I went to like Colorado. Like Colorado is like famous for hot springs, and I visited Denver, like Glenwood Springs, and I could see a lot of people in the pool, and I saw none of them with the masks on. I could see just like one instructor. If you go back to the first image, I mean like it's not very visible because I had very low time. You could see one person in the tent wearing a mask. So I could get in, I couldn't get much closer there, but this is what I got like on my way back home.
Well, you're doing it. So here's the thing. You're looking for those images to basically document your path and what you see out there. And every one of these images is really important. And this sense of space back here, I mean, you could have just zoomed in to there, and that's great. Oh, we're in a pool somewhere, but having this sense of space and where you are is going to really be vital in just to giving this.
Yeah, actually, oh, sorry to stop you, but yeah, I didn't want to like miss out the mountains because Colorado is facing the worst wildfires ever recorded in the history. So this is like the biggest wildfires. And you couldn't see any of the mountains much clearer because of the smoke. And like I'm traveling, you could see ash on my windshield. So I have like submitted few photos where I could see ash on the windshield. So that was interesting.
That's a nice picture.
So did you get any pictures of the fires or the ash or smoke-covered mountains or anything like that? Because even that fits in. It fits into our 2020, the worst.
Yeah, I tried so much to get to the Pine Gulch, but we were not allowed to take that route. And I tried taking the route like from other direction, but yeah, we had like a lot of stops and we're not allowed in that route without a press card or something. And that was the image where like students, like teachers were constantly reminding the students to maintain social distance, and the students were like making fun of it by like spreading their arms and like checking distance from one another. Yeah, the next one, I guess. Yep, this one. So once the teacher wants them, like everyone starts spreading their hands.
These are the images that we see every day that we sort of just walk past and don't photograph. That picture right there, again, is like the wedding in the yard. This is going to be something we're never going to see again, hopefully. That's timely and vital. That's great. Now it looks like Matt did some work with at a Trump fly-in. This is up in looks like it's up in northern Ohio.
Cleveland.
Cleveland.
Yeah.
That's a nice image.
Is this Trump or Pence?
Trump was in Cleveland, wasn't he, last week? Northern Ohio, I thought.
Well, it says in the caption, President Trump plans to attend a private fundraiser at the Shore Club later in the evening. So it must be Trump coming in. Yeah.
There was it didn't look like Air Force One.
Well, he travels in Pence's plane, especially to small airports and on the campaign trail as well. When it's
right. And whatever plane he's in is Air Force One.
But that is this where it comes down your caption. People will figure this out. So if Donald Trump
That's such an
if Donald Trump is on this plane, it is not Air Force Two. That is Air Force One. And
well,
that's the devil in the details for people. So
that's the smaller of the two planes. Actually, they have multiples, but a lot of times for short trips, they take that plane instead of the 747.
Yeah, but am I correct, Stephen and Pete? If Trump is on it, it's not Air Force Two, as it says in the caption.
Oh,
yeah,
it's
you're
all,
right.
yeah, whatever he's on is Air Force One.
Right.
Yeah, he could be on a Cessna, it's Air Force One.
Yeah. Matt, that's a great picture too. I just love him waving that flag.
I love that.
That's terrific. Really nice
I think
job.
it's great.
I'm surprised that he got so close to the fence, first of all.
Well, it's at Burke Lakefront, so it's a smaller airport, hence the
Right.
reason
Yeah.
smaller plane. And again, people, I saw this a couple times in comments on photo galleries. People were commenting like, "Oh, why is he in the 777? What's going on with that? Why is he in Pence's plane?" And this is a legitimate picture to describe people how he is traveling around the country to
Campaign. Yeah.
campaign. But that's a great photograph.
What's the caption in that picture that you just showed? The two people talking. What's it say?
A sergeant with Bracknell Police Department assists Shahila Taylor, who claimed another protester threw water on her. Oh, it's a Trump supporter who is talking to a cop about someone throwing water on her.
Okay, all right.
Well,
Can I jump in as a former wire service guy here?
Yep.
The plane landing, what would happen if we crop that like by 25% or something?
Down to there.
Yeah, well, yeah. And from the left and the top.
yeah, I agree, Charlie. I
think you gain a lot from that.
That's a square
Yeah.
horizontal back in the day when you had two ways to crop.
Well, pretty much all wire photos now are asked to be 4x3, right?
Yeah.
Well, getting rid of this, coming right up through that.
Yeah.
I like the truck back there. I think that gives me a sense of place of like,
Oh yeah. You can definitely leave that. Yeah.
yeah, clean that up right there. It'd be really, would really snap.
Impact.
Yep.
Great
right.
shot. Great shot.
I'm gonna jump. Where am I? Let's go to all. I don't know what just happened right there.
Library.
I'm getting ahead of myself. All right. So this is Arden. Hey, Arden, what's going on?
Hey.
So Arden has dropped in a lot of photographs from recent and from in the past few months. So she's looking back into her archives and following up on things, which I think is great. And I love this picture. Again, it's like the yard wedding. It gives you a sense of place of where you are. I mean, the street signs kind of tell you where you are, but this actually gives you a sense that, you know, it's not just next to a building. The sign helps you out here, but I love seeing that sense of place.
Well, I mean, it's just authentic democracy there. You know, it's not a staged, preset, hand-picked crowd. This is, you know, the real deal along the motorcade route and what have you. So,
As a curating team, what's your favorite photo curating team out of this little grouping? If you're going
I
to
really like
one.
that wide shot. I like that wide shot a lot. I think that's America right now. Yeah. The way they dress, that looks like something right out of 1968 along Robert Kennedy's route. It's really, there's a lot in that picture.
There's a social distancing too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do a protest with social distancing. This is it. This is how you do it.
And the liquor barn's a nice touch. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an odd little feature in there.
It's kind of like an exact opposite of Paul Fusco's funeral train.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Different perspective, I guess.
Yeah,
well, what's so subtle about it is the teeny tiny little sign that basically tells you why this is happening. The little post office sign, delivering our democracy. And man, and the power lines, I love those power lines. As much as I would always be, you know, trying to clean up my image and make, you know, always trying to defeat those lines in the sky and get rid of them. Look how that works. I mean, it's going, leading you in almost like an arrow. This is a really nice picture.
Very nice.
Yep. Great job, Arden.
There's a nice visual pun there too. You can go back to that.
Which one?
That one.
Keep your.
You have the liquor barn, deliver your pickup, and then the sign right below is delivering our democracy.
Those little details.
Oh, that's very smart.
Those little details. And Arden, this is one of those photographs that an editor at the New York Times is going to be piling through, seeing 1,000 images a day, and they're going to do what, you know, Charlie just said. They're going to see that liquor barn sign, delivery is up to you, and they're going to, oh, that they go, you know what, this is going to look great, 6 columns
That's
across.
very funny. Yeah.
And boom. And there's nothing wrong with these photographs here. I mean, those are your typical wire, Charlie, right? Your typical wire photograph. And that sums it up pretty quick of what's going on. But isn't it funny how we all kind of resonate to that image?
Yeah.
That has the. I almost didn't include that one, so I'm pretty happy that I did now. But I thought it was too open, and I didn't see the lines like you all did as like leading lines. I was like, there's too much empty space. Nothing's clean. Everything's leaning into each other. So.
Well, I would want to clean it up a little bit with a crop, but not with much of one, because I'm real interested in what's going on with those signs and the lines.
Yeah.
That brings up a good point I was going to bring up earlier or later. The idea of when you guys edit and submit, I think you're all trying to you know, throw in what you think is a tight edit. don't be afraid of throwing in images that you like or you're on the fence about, and let folks take a look at it, such as the group that's editing through all this. And you're going to come up with winners like this. And again, we are all our worst editors, and throw that stuff out there, and let other people have eyeballs on it.
Yeah, even when I'm filing stuff for the Times or Getty or whoever, I always overfile. I figured, I'm paid to take the pictures, not edit the pictures. That's what their job is. And you never know what somebody's going to want,
Absolutely. Yep.
And but the best example is probably with the Times. I shot a bunch of pictures last week, and they just keep showing up either online or in the paper. And there's nothing necessarily fantastic or special about them. It's just they need different pictures to continue to illustrate stories. So
yeah, don't be afraid of just filing a little bit more than what you think is your tightest edit.
Hey guys, I have to run. I'm adios. I'm chasing the moon tonight, and I'm on a 15-minute departure window. So, adios.
All right, my boy. Take care.
See ya.
That tighter version of that. Again, now we've got variety, we've got delivery, and then we've got this dog looks like it's wearing a black mask like the woman. And I like the lines in it and everything else. So again, we had a little touch of humor, dark humor.
Like that. Yeah, which one do you like, Steven? Do you like this one?
No, I just think, it looks like the dog is wearing a mask. Like it's just sort of funny, and the way the colors and the black stripes matches the bag there. So it's just sort of it's just a nice little portrait. She's wearing a glove and everything, touching her dog with a glove on, looks like. So that's kind of a fun picture.
It's fun too, because in the caption, it's an emotional support dog. So she can have a dog in the dorm, correct?
Only she managed to figure out like the only way that you can have one. That was part of the reason that I stopped. Was like, how in the world do you have a dog like that and move in? And she told me it was her emotional support dog. So
is it legit?
She said she could have it. Yeah, she said she could have it in the dorm. So I don't know if she's had any problems since then, but she at least got it in. So
I think everybody needs an emotional support.
So is it like a service dog or something?
Yeah, it's like a.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see a band. I was not sure if it's written service dog on it, because most of it has band or West, which says service dog on it.
I don't think the dog might have like a dog tag that says service dog or emotional
like
support
a West. Yeah.
But I don't know that the vest does, like most typically do, but.
But this is great. I mean, because we have to speak, the emotional toll that this is taking on everybody. So I think having, this support dog is a really important element to add to this story.
I don't know. The cynic in me is that she just wants her dog.
Oh, I agree.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. But it's also, the glove and I don't know. But yeah, no, I agree. But I mean, everything's about.
Since when have you seen a puppy
paper
as
towels,
an emotional support dog?
Oh my God! Well, everybody's, they've got emotional pigs now and everything.
Oh, I know.
Everybody's taking advantage of this.
On a plane.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have an emotional Venus flytrap right now, so
Yeah.
that's my.
Yeah.
Well,
it's a nice bit of information to add to the story.
Now it looks like Arden, these are from back at this was a flood in Harrison County, Kentucky. And
wow.
This flood actually has historic value. So it was one of the largest floods to hit here in probably 20 or 30 years. It could have been almost one of the top 10 floods, and it was a chance of it being number one. So I'm glad you included these. Historic value is always historic value.
I mean, again, it just speaks to the relentlessness of 2020. It just never stops. I mean, granted, we have floods every year, but it's everything. Has anybody gotten any locusts yet? I mean, it just doesn't stop. So I'm so glad you got this. That's a great shot. That says a lot about floods and that.
That is so good. I love that.
Absolutely. Look at the wet pants. You know that they've
Yeah.
been coming and going, and
Mhm.
it doesn't have to show everything, but you know, it's a house, it's flooded, there's their mailbox, they're wet.
The marks on the banister, the white marks, they're from past floods, like the height of the water.
Is that right?
Mhm.
Wow.
Whose picture is this?
It's Arden's.
Mine.
Okay. Okay. I don't see it in your caption, or am I missing it?
Oh, I think I failed to include my name. That's pretty bad, actually.
Well, I was going to put my name on it, so you better get it on there quick. That's a nice shot. Do you have more of the mailbox? Is there a mailbox there?
Yeah,
Not
I
a
don't
big
know.
deal. Just you know, but this is a nice shot. I mean, and again, remember, we can get away from. It's everything that people, the relentlessness of this of 2020. So I'm so glad that we have this in the story. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's really shows a lot.
Yeah.
It's just nonchalant. Their house is flooding. They're just like, hey, okay, we're just going to throw it in the trailer and then get out of
Yeah.
here.
I mean, it's just, yeah.
Living it like they've done it before.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Oh, there we go.
Really nice. With the reflection and sopping wet.
Oh, good Lord. And a teddy bear in the foreground. Yeah. It's,
So your caption is complete, and that's what's going to be vital. So 25 years from now or 30 years from now, someone's going to say, shoot, those houses were gone. So these houses more than likely could possibly be raised. I mean, that house has been elevated, but some of these could be gone, or the street could be gone in 20 years. And you're going to know that this is North Poplar Street in Cynthiana. And a lot of times it would just be easy to say flooding in Cynthiana and not note where that is. So that's key.
Arden, what is that in the, can you go back, Jack? Back, Jack? What is that in the foreground?
It's like a stuffed mouse. It's a stuffed teddy bear type.
I wish you'd gone lower.
Okay.
I wish you'd kind of crouched and gotten that big in the foreground and the flood in the background. Kind of played with perspectives.
I'll have to go back through like everything that I shot, because I definitely, I really worked that probably more than I should have. So I might have something like that.
Is that teddy bear wearing a mask?
No, unfortunately, that would have been the shot.
If it was Ouija, he would throw the mask in there, you know, throwing the hat in there. No one even knows who Ouija is. Okay.
I know who Ouija is.
Oh, no.
No, that's nice. And what is this about, Arden? Is this a graduation ceremony?
Yeah, this is my family, actually. My little sister graduated from 5th grade, and she's a drama queen. So like, I graduated from college, and my brother Larkin graduated from high school, and we still have not had graduation parties, but the 5th grader did. So
that's a great, the picture of the sparkler.
Yeah.
I mean, that sums up these homebrew celebrations. It's sad and poignant and wonderful. That's a great shot. I mean, celebrating graduation, so-and-so's graduation. That's a really terrific picture.
A little Arbus-like almost. I like it.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah, really,
isolation.
really strong. Yeah, yes, absolutely.
I don't mind the bike in the background.
I think it's great. I think the bike is great. Yeah.
I
Again, there it is.
I like
whooping
that
it up.
back there. I like that
Yeah.
little hint of color.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
You know me. I'm
You're
never met a
right.
photo I couldn't crop.
Nice. And this is where going back into your files and bringing this stuff back to light is really.
Yeah.
Now, this is back when universities were just shutting down, correct, Arden?
Mhm. Yeah, this is back in March.
Oh, so long ago.
Yes, I know.
The good old days.
Hey guys, I gotta take off too. So hopefully I'll see you all next week.
Good.
Okay.
See you next time.
Have a
Good
good
luck
one.
on your route.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Keep your lug wrench handy.
Yeah, we'll do.
That's nice. That moment in between the press conference, where
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
just because things
What-
are not always going on, those little moments in between, before or after.
Nice. Really nice. And yeah.
These images are important. These images are really, really important. Just
Yeah.
at this point in March, these hallways should be full.
Mhm. Yeah.
And there's one person. It's really done nicely. Jeez. What do we have here, Arden?
I was like the Lexington press conference right after Kentucky's first case. This was also back in March.
Oh, that's nice. So going through all these, have you guys seen a trend that a really finely crafted and smartly composed image with the signs giving off a little humor, with composition clean, with that one little hand, personal
Yeah, I
touch?
This
love
is
the hand.
terrific. I
Yep.
love this.
I love
yeah,
the hand.
very
Yep.
smart. Very clean and easy to read too. Yeah.
It's a sophisticated photograph, and
Yeah.
viewers really are drawn to this type of work.
hmm
Want it as a vertical.
Mhm.
Yep.
Nobody needs a vertical.
Nobody.
In the words of Jack Korn, the world is a horizontal place. But
That's it's impossible for me to turn my camera vertically. My arm will not go that way.
Let me see what we have here. I want to jump through to get to. I know we have. It's almost 9. I can't really see. I'm on my screen share. I can't really see who. Let me see here. Okay. I want to make sure we get to everybody's work that's here. This is Carlin's, right?
That's Galen's
This is
new.
Galen's. So Galen had some early work tossed in, and Pete and I saw the work early on, and we're asking him if he wanted to go back and try to jump on the story, because he had these folks prior to the COVID-19 pandemic, and it would be a nice follow to keep up with this family through the COVID. And there's quite a few images here, so let me just run through them, and I'll let people chime in. Does that sound like a good idea? Or tell us a little bit about what you're doing here, Galen.
Yeah, sure. So it's not really COVID related in an immediate fashion. I've been documenting dayboat fishermen for about a year, and I know I'd kick myself for years to come if I didn't get something from during this time. So I just kind of went back up there for a few days, and there's a small aspect to it of they're having to go directly to customers to get normal prices versus wholesalers, because there's no restaurants really open.
Yeah.
I think I came up short with that visually. I had a few discussions after the fact about
What?
taking something mundane and making it graphical to get at that, but aside from that, yeah.
Oh wow.
There's some nice art here. I mean, and I think that how small business and this business is adapting, how it has to adapt, is a really, really important element over the big picture. And you've got some beautiful pictures here. So just the captions could help carry it, but I don't know if there's anything over on the a restaurant or delivery. I'm trying to think what I've seen around here. You know, just.
And maybe you touch on that with one or two photos, people picking up food or.
Yeah.
But I really
and,
like these on the boat shots. I mean, these are
Yeah, I think it
stuff.
only would take a couple pictures to really get at that. I just don't think they're visually strong enough. They're toward the end, if anything. But yeah, I don't think it would take too much. It's a very word heavy explanation.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's food getting crammed into styrofoam containers where before they would serve it on a plate kind of stuff. You know,
and is there an environmental aspect you could play up here? Just the fact, are they underfishing?
I could go on for days about it. It's the fastest warming body of water on Earth. They've gone from like 1,200 permits for ground fish to like 150 in the last 10 years.
Wow.
And so on. There's like a lot of, it's pretty much, I'm trying to document it for years to come and see if it's an end of an era. So specifically, these are dayboat fishermen, people that only go out for a day at a time.
And where is this?
This is in Massachusetts.
In where?
Massachusetts.
Whereabouts?
Most of this is in Plymouth and Green Harbor. There's a little in Boston, and a lot of it's Cape Cod Bay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's not north where the commercial fishermen are going at.
Well, I mean, depends on how you define. They're commercial fishermen, but they're not. They're like the base of New England. These are the people that the boats can only go out for a day at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not the ones that go way out.
No.
And we had that conversation. You were concerned not getting up to Gloucester and other places, and I think you're showing the other side of things that most people don't know about or don't see. They don't see the small family operations. They see the big boats, and I think that's what makes this story so important.
Is this one of the images, Galen, that you're talking about? That would be.
Sorry, I was looking at Akash's link that he sent there. What image?
Is this image here one of the ones that would relay that the have to make to keep their business going?
I got about 5 words of that.
Yeah, Molly, you're breaking up on the audio.
Okay, sorry about that. I was wondering,
I think someone else is making noise over her. It's a problem. Is there anyone who's
Steve Crowley? You need to mute yourself. There we go.
Try again, Molly.
that one of the guy walking down the plank with the is this?
Yeah, the one of him walking down that. Yeah, he's having to get up at like 4 a.m. to transport his fish all the way to Boston because he can't sell it locally.
The pivoting to try to keep the business going, to go direct from from boat to consumers instead of having the distributors involved anymore because there's no restaurants, right?
Well, not him specifically. He's going to a distributor, but the only distributors he can get to now are in Boston, which is 35 miles away. So he has to take the fish there at before the sun's up, when he used to be able to sell it on the dock itself.
Galen, did you follow him to the wholesaler?
Yeah, it's at the beginning of this edit. It happened fairly quickly, and it's one of those things I definitely wish I had time to go back to the moments that I did capture to capture them better a second time, not knowing what was going to happen the first time.
Is there a reason you can't do that?
Yeah, I'm in Columbus at an internship. So.
That's a good reason.
Yeah.
No, Galen made a big effort to get back up to Boston once we were looking at the work that he had submitted earlier. And I think, Galen, were you disappointed it didn't see more COVID, in this photographs? Or I'm good with that because you're showing what life is like for a group.
That was what I was kind of getting at when I was talking to you and Pete, is everything sounds so dramatic, but the reason these people are still in business versus the ones who aren't is because they find a way to make it work, or their mortgages are paid, or their kids are through college, so on and so forth. So it's not, you can look at all the information and it gets really dramatic, but in the end it's not. And there's also a group of people that are very they don't really care about a virus. I mean, I'm not going to say they're naysayers or any of that kind, but they don't have contact with a lot of people outside of their group. And I think they're more worried about the ocean than they are the virus.
Well, and having lived and worked up there, I mean, these are people who are used to I hate to use this word, but the hard scrabble times anyway, right? I mean, this is.
Yeah, I mean, this is just kind of like icing on the cake in a lot of ways. So.
This is just another obstacle that's getting thrown up at them.
Right.
One thing I noticed with this work was that I thought that Galen really took a lot of attention to working in beautiful light, which is no matter what you're doing.
Like that shot, oh my gosh. That's gorgeous.
What really makes that photograph is, of course, the silhouette
hair.
And the hair. I mean, if she turned her head and you didn't see the nose and the bill and that, but that's a perfect moment right there.
And the spill of that orange light on the waves in the foreground, really nice.
Yep. I mean, it's I mean, all of these. I mean, this picture right here, example.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yep. I mean, light, moment, geez, composition. That's the nice thing about Galen's work. You know, he's moving his subject around in the frame. I mean, that'd be easy to centerize that photograph right there, but he's sort of filled the entire frame in a way with composure. And it's really nice.
Well, it's almost like a Eugene Richards approach, right? He's not afraid to get close.
Yep. Fill the frame. Yep.
Yeah.
And you do that a great deal without showing, like you could easily have shown the entire lobster here, but you're going in and you get the idea. You don't need to see the entire lobster, but you also get a sense of place of where you are. There's the ocean. There's someone holding it. It's like
so what happened to that lobster? Did they throw it back?
Yeah. So any egg-bearing female, they
have to,
back
right?
in markers so that no other lobsterman can take it.
I was actually asking that, hoping that they'd thrown it back. But
yeah, they're actually surprisingly, you know, they're often audited so often they don't take any chances.
Right.
I actually, if you guys don't mind, I have a question for you. I don't think I kind of came up with it, and I don't want to take too much time for anyone else, but toward the bottom, there's a picture, I mean, any of the pictures of the phone, but say, maybe go up a little bit. Where is this? All right, wow. Regardless, how would you recommend taking something mundane, like a picture of somebody coordinating their selling on a cell phone and, you know, making it interesting enough that it's includable in an edit? I don't know where that picture went, but there's just one of him in the dinghy.
Are they taking notes on the side as they're talking, like calculating prices or?
So what they're doing is they're on a local Facebook group and they're connecting with people in the community to sell directly to them so they can get their normal prices versus, yeah, that's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I had a talk with a friend after the fact, and she kind of mentioned, well, if it's something boring, take a very compelling graphical image of it.
Are there multiple people on his screen?
No, it's just like Facebook Messenger.
Maybe the text.
Yeah, you could just zoom in tight, you know, and see what he's typing.
Like $120 a pound, or you know, something that whatever the price, whatever.
So if you could go back, I mean, in the same photo, if you could like get another angle, I'm sorry, Jack, if you could go back to the photo with the phone. Yeah, I mean, like if you could go to the side, like to his right, and maybe like angle it in such a way that you get water in the behind, and like you could get a little bit of the phone. Maybe you could try doing that next time. I'm like just trying a different angle so that the phone is angled towards like the right corner, and you could see a little space of like the water so that we get the sense of the place. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you mean and showing that text, or just kind of giving?
Yeah, showing the text as well. I'm like, yeah.
And I don't even know if you need to show the water, because so many of these have water in them already.
Like that is one issue with this story, is it gets very redundant. because of where they are.
Galen, I think these are beautiful photos.
I agree, Galen. These are remarkable. Really did a nice job on it. I wouldn't worry too much about that detail. Be nice if you can get it, but I just think there's enough emotion and anxiety in some of these faces that says it with a proper caption, or But I'd keep that simple. I wouldn't. I mean, it'd be nice if you had a
Can you
ready piece of paper with figures on it, but
Jack, can you go back to?
well, there you go.
There we go. This.
Yeah, and that's kind of the one that I was referring to.
Yeah, that's nice. It's perfect with the tattoos and everything. Oh my god.
I mean, it'd be nice when it's tighter if you want to do it as a detail, but it's impossible, especially on these phones, this type of phone, to show.
Yeah, the glare. The glare is going to make it pretty much impossible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Jack,
I mean, like,
Jack, go down to the bottom. This 44.
44.
The
Oh,
one
44.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was hoping to find something that shows kind of the frustration, the weariness, the. I think that's. I mean, these are beautiful, but I'm missing that kind of shot.
What was the last picture?
That's kind of the amazing thing about these people, at least this group of people. Is
Yeah, there we go.
it doesn't affect them too much. They just
I mean,
deal.
truthfully, I like the other silhouette is really nice of the girl, but I like this better, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. I agree with Pete on this one.
That's the moody kind of what is the introspective aspect of all this.
Moody, broody.
Right.
Yeah.
You gotta remember he's photographing these stoic New Englanders. They're not gonna show a lot of emotion about their,
I grew up in New England. I know that.
The thing is, this is nothing new to them. Everything sucks. So instead they just drink. Maybe I'll just show that instead.
So this photograph here is what you're trying to sum up in, with the detail of selling your stuff over on Facebook. I mean, your caption says this, and if you look closely, he's got a phone, but these are the customers he's selling to, these Meadow Facebook group. So, I mean, sometimes, the caption really tells the story, and this actually to me is a more interesting photograph than just the detail of that, phone connecting with someone.
yeah, is there a chance that he goes back home and opens it through a laptop or something?
No.
Nah, okay.
Highly unlikely. He just discovered Venmo, so.
Okay.
I love that background too. I mean, really.
Yeah.
Galen, can I ask
Sure.
is there something like positive about the fact that they're cutting out the middleman in a way? Like, is that reducing any emissions or anything like that?
Probably not, because that picture of him putting stuff on the truck is the middleman. They're still selling to the middleman. That's just, they're getting half of what they usually get because COVID shut down all the restaurants, and that's where most people get their lobster. People don't want to cook lobster.
The middleman has no place to sell, or not a big market to sell to, right?
Right. So everyone's kind of just like, and he's not happy about it, but so it's probably not cutting down on emissions. Yeah.
Hey, Galen, could I ask a question quickly?
Sure.
Could you please scroll up? Okay, so I love the shot of the Jenga tower falling. Is that what that was?
Yeah.
I like how these are workers who are very stoic in their work, but it seems like at home, that's the one. She's clearly laughing in the foreground, like maybe more like that seems to balance out the stoicism. And I love that. I love that that's like on her wrist because it's falling. Like that's one of my favorites. I love that a lot.
Yeah, I think I agree. That's kind of what I was going for. I'd like to show the more not rough and tough stoic New Englander, image.
But I do think the after fishing, get together for beers is also an aspect that needs to be in there too.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. I mean, does he go to the archetypal beer hall or tavern and knock back a few with his buddies?
No, they go home, they drink, and they go to bed.
Got it. And get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, right?
Yeah, yeah. I wish I had more time there.
Yeah,
I
I
was
hear
only
you.
2 days, so but I'll get back there one day.
Yeah. Well, I think you should keep up with it. I mean, through this pandemic, especially, it's a segment of life that really isn't affected overtly, but it's affected economically and commercially in a way that their livelihood has changed due to all this. They haven't changed how they really do things, but
Right.
Is that home for you? Where's your family?
I'm from Boston.
So are you going to go back at Christmas for the holidays?
Probably not. I live with
okay.
my grandma there, and I'm going to have too much exposure here to feel comfortable going.
Oh, right. Makes sense.
So Jesse has a few pictures here of basically back at school and showing where they're all going, how to cope with this new space to learn. And that's where these socially distant photographs of placards and things like that done in an interesting way are going to become so valuable to a project like this and going back to school. Are you on, Jesse? I don't think so. That's Wake the Cancer March. You know, a lot of these captions, just be aware, guys, that captions will give a sense of place, time, and why and what's going on. And just remember to keep dates and times and locations, you know, on Appalachian State campus. But you know, I can see what the building is, but you might want to put that back into the caption because if this was being searched out through
well, that's not actually a caption. That's just a keyword.
Oh, the keywords. Yeah.
There is no caption.
So.
And if I can just say, as the person who's put together the main galleries, if I don't see caption information, I skip over the photographs because I can't make sense of them otherwise.
And if it's a really great photograph, yeah, we may, you know, call you back up like, hey, can we get a caption for this? But most editors probably won't jump to those hoops. And this
unless you were shooting it for Getty and they're going to call you and scream at you and ask where your captions are.
Yeah, there's the ash on the window.
That's awesome.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one I was talking about with the ash on. So there's like a lot of wildfires going on. So it's like always constant ash on the windshields.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yep.
Details. It's all good.
I included that first one in the weekly gallery, FYI.
Oh, great. Thanks.
Yep.
There's one group here. Oh, Melina's. I think you're still on, aren't you?
Yep, I'm here.
So you're a bit of a hybrid, right? Writer / photographer / excellent at both.
Thanks. Yeah, you could say that.
So you're trying to find elements in your community in Pennsylvania, right? Of showing what's going on. This is kind of nice because it's, you know, during a pandemic, but things are still happening. That's a nice detail. That's kind of nice. The way is that shot horizontally or is that a vertical?
That's shot her. So that was actually what she was doing, like kind of just, she was doing these loop-to-loops and stuff.
I like that. That's what really will draw somebody in. They'll see that and stop and take a look at it. And again, that little element right there, we've never seen that before. And where did that come from? Skydivers having to wear masks up all by themselves. And they're probably wearing the masks on their way down, aren't they?
Well, they're wearing like helmets that kind of cover their whole face, I think. So
So they put those on after they got down on the ground.
yeah.
That's the irony, right? You're up there in the middle of nowhere and in this time where you're wearing a mask. Well, good job. I love this picture. That's just, it draws your attention.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is so funny because that was like one of my least favorite. I was like, I'll just include it.
Again, I mean, throw your edits together with the knowledge of other people who are going to look at this. And photographers sometimes have the difficulty of showing people work other than themselves, and they get embarrassed or just worried to show things that they don't think will measure up. And don't be shy. Get your stuff out there to show people, and they'll have a different viewpoint. And they're not always valid viewpoints. Most of the stuff that I say, just like the conversation we had with the empty store shelves, just having that dialogue back and forth opens up a lot of opportunity to look at these two different pictures with two different viewpoints and seeing how important both of those images are, but how different people have different takes on looking at it.
And this is such a nice break from the doom and gloom of 2020. Here's something positive, something being acknowledged. So I'm so glad that you covered this. It's a great contribution to the overall story of 2020.
Yeah, thank you. It was kind of an irony because it was happening around the same time as some of the flare-ups with Kenosha. And one of the things about the centennial here is like white women could vote, but functionally a lot of
Well, that's a very good point. Very, very good point, Melina. Yeah, that's a little political hot potato there. Good point.
Yep.
Yeah, that's definitely entered into the discussion.
These little aspects, these little key aspects are so vital, and especially bringing a project like this together. And Stephen hit it right on the head. This gives a different feel to the doom and gloom. It's showing life's going on, a lot like the Rebecca's surfing stories up in Alaska and other things that are showing, well, even the fishing story, but in a different way. This is a big country doing things a lot differently than others are. And this is more of a Catholic, isn't it? Or is this, yeah. That's a nice image. Wow.
Yeah, I found it very interesting because like everyone comes to a tourist spot to enjoy the view. I mean, like it's still like suffocating with the mask on, and I see a lot of people with the mask on. I didn't see anyone without the mask. Like most of them with the mask, even at the nature, you cannot even like enjoy the nature without the mask. That was like kind of sad for me.
Wow, that's nice. Oops. Oh, that light, that back there, that little moment, that's really nice. Subtle, but it's a moment.
I can relate.
Nice, 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 nice.
Nice set of pictures.
This is Molina's. Is this Molina's?
That's mine.
I mean, take no offense. I was really surprised by the set of images when I saw these today. These are great. Just to preface this is an amazing little collection of work. And there's one photograph I'm really taken by in here, and see if Stephen or Charlie or Molly see it too.
I think Molly ducked out.
Yeah. That's nice.
That is nice.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's
Oh,
really
wow.
nice.
So how simple is that family portrait? How nice is that? That's a family portrait of 2020.
Yeah.
Can you tell me something about the festival? What it
Yeah, so this is called Gauri Ganesha Festival, and for my family, this is like the biggest festival of the year, and it is basically honoring the god Ganesha, which in Hindu religion is the god of like wisdom and new beginnings. So it's really, we start every school and it's like it always falls around the start of the school year, but obviously it's different. Like my brother's in high school and he's starting remotely, and my grandma is on the opposite coast, so she was doing prayers remotely over FaceTime. And also, my family celebrates a little differently because we're an interracial family, so it's just part of that element too.
yeah.
So Grandma will like translate as she's saying prayers and stuff.
That certainly fits in with one of these images could work with the "Where is God" thing, and then
I love that. It's just, I mean, it's not a happy photo, but it's just, I landed on that one pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's one I was leaning toward. That and the portrait, the simple family portrait.
Yeah.
It's so like, wow, look at that.
Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
Nice stuff, Melina.
Thank you.
I mean, talking about moments that define this year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Nice, positive. Yeah.
I just like to add, because when I go back to the photos, I could just remember my family celebrating the same festival back home. So I'm just like away from family, but it's very like nostalgic for me. Like this is the small moments what we see and photograph. So that's great work. I mean, truly.
Thank you.
It's very positive, contrasting with everything else. It's a great addition. Yeah.
And if I can circle back to where Jack started this, we were talking about all you folks, or if any of you are still in school again, it's those kinds of Zoom moments that kind of define education in this time of 2020, right?
Absolutely.
Remote learning and all that good stuff.
Walking the dog, remote learning. I mean, everything we do today is different. The way we, everything. It has a vital impact of how people are going to look back on this year 100 years from now.
I mean, even a screen grab of this moment right now.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for better or worse, there's a lot of good that is coming out of a lot of this, of how we conduct our lives and do things. There's, good and bad, but I really love this picture.
I do too.
Yeah.
Who took
Again,
this?
Sophisticated.
Is the flag legitimately upside down, or was that by mistake, or?
It's in his caption. Upside down flag is used to symbolize the United States is in dire distress. Is not meant
in distress. Yeah. Yeah. It's a really strong image.
Can't see the caption field here.
Oh, I'm sorry. This picture I think is wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think I agree. It's a great kind of new, fresh kind of protest picture. It's wonderful.
Jack, when did these photos come in?
I think Annie sent these in yesterday or the day before.
Oh wow. Okay.
So good guys.
I almost want to revise the photo gallery now.
Absolutely. I mean, this picture is really great.
There are 4 or 5 photos that we've seen that I would love to pop in.
These are all wonderful. That's nice. But wow.
Yeah, it's killer. Yeah. Really smart.
And we've all, we're all very visually literate. I haven't seen that particular photo.
I was just going to say that. I'm saying that's a photograph I have not seen. Yeah. And Annie has it. Right there it is. I like the first one. I don't know. It's that one with the hand there. Just subtly different.
think that other one seemed to be.
I think I like the. I mean,
Is it different? Unfortunately, I don't think I can. I'm not a. I don't know how to.
oh,
I don't think you can do that in Photo Shelter.
No, I think they're so.
They're not the exact same frame.
I think they may be the same frame.
yeah,
They are
Yeah.
the same frame. They're the same number.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
yeah.
Man, it's still nice. I like them
Yeah.
both. I like them both.
Hey, Jack, I need to jump off.
Yeah.
Send me what I need tomorrow to start putting stuff up.
Will
Yeah,
do.
as do I. So
Well, let's look at this one real quick one here.
this, the LAE.
Yeah. Is Shafkat on?
Yeah, I'm here.
This is a wonderful collection. I know you had some, we were talking and debating about this, about, you know, some of the aspects of it being tough to view, but I think that's what makes the story so important. And I know you and Charlie have been working on this one together, and it's a fantastic group of work.
Can you just back up to start? Can you just give people an idea of what they're going to be seeing here and what this is?
Yeah. So some pictures might be a little bit graphic, with some cow meat and blood, but this is something that Muslims do every year. I mean, it's pretty normal and very common for a Muslim country or any Middle Eastern country, but in terms of Hawaii, it's really different. I have seen this ceremony being celebrated for my past 20 years of my life back in the home, but coming to Hawaii, it's very different. It's pretty much the other side of the hand. The way they cut the cow, the way they slaughter the cow is very different. I was also showing this photographs to someone I know over here, and then he was saying to me was, you know, Americans over here, they don't know where their meat is coming from. They think their meat comes from Safeway or Foodland or any normal grocery shop. But for some people, the meat comes from like this, like raw into the ground, and cut your own stuff, bring your own equipment, bring your own knives and stuff, and then you cut it. And then, and one of the significance of this ceremony is like you distribute the meat to the poor. So this year, the reason they did it, the Muslims they gathered and did it, is because they want to celebrate. I mean, despite the pandemic, they want to have a blessing and then share with other people as well. So yeah, I've been documenting the Muslim community for a long time, but this is something I should be sharing with. And I was pretty anxious and pretty nervous if I should be showing it to other people, because you know there's blood and stuff. So that's why I reached out to Jack. So yeah.
And Jack, can you go to the gallery that we built out of this?
Hopefully. Let me see if I can make it my way back there.
Hey, Shafkat, I have a question for you. So is it for Eid or Bakrid?
Yes.
It's not, yeah, Qurbani Eid,
Qurbani, okay.
Let's see. Is that in your?
No, it's in the American Reimagined. Go down, scroll down. There we go. 6. So this is a great example of like an editor reaching back to the photographer and going, really like what you've got here. I mean, this is just me talking, but is there anything, what else do you have, kind of thing? And Shafkat found this frame, not this one, but this one, which speaks a lot, to me anyway, spoke a lot about what he was talking about, which was the kind of distribution of the meat. So that was this is the gallery that we built out of his work.
That is a nice addition in this photograph right here. That right there.
Yeah.
Mask, the headwear.
Kind of the portioning of the meat.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow.
But good work.
Great. This is awesome. Let me find my incoming files again. Is there anybody, I can't see who's on right now. Is there anybody that has work in here that we haven't talked about yet?
Carlin was here a moment ago. He had a similar
Carlin
story to mine.
has the, is
His
that
is in Maryland though, so it's not as cool.
Continuation of Galen's master's project.
Oh, this is the crabbing piece, right?
Anything?
Maryland.
Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
I know I saw it. Let's see if I
I
can.
think it's in Molly's. Might be in Molly's folder.
Yeah, Molly was my editor for it.
Okay. Yeah, I know I saw it.
While you're scrolling, do you guys mind if I ask a question?
No, please.
So I haven't spoken to my boss here yet, but my supervisor, the picture editor, thought that they might require like a tagline, like shot for the dispatch or photograph for the dispatch if it goes somewhere like this. And how do you guys as editors or curators feel about that?
Go into working edits, Jack.
Working edits.
No, go into Molly's folder.
Where is that?
And then working edits. There we go. Carlin Waterman. Ooh. And then we have the edited version, I think, too.
Great.
So what you working on here, Carlin?
So what? Can we just go back to the question?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
What was the question?
I was just asking if you guys had a problem with a paper identifying that it was photographed for them if it comes up on America Reimagined.
Oh, not at all.
Okay, thanks.
Not at all. I mean, that's what we've, with a lot of the American reportage photographers, like a lot of Pete's work has been photographed for the New York Times or for Getty. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we'll scroll through these first, and then we have an edit of this as well that has been worked on. So Carlin, are you still here?
Yeah, what's up?
Hey man. So
can you give us a little what we're looking at?
Yeah, sure thing. So this summer I interned at the Chesapeake Bay program, and I was told to come up with a summer project. So what immediately interested me was kind of like the culture and history of the people who worked the Chesapeake Bay. And those iconic people are watermen, and kind of like the same narrative that Galen has with his piece, that this is like a dying culture. They're facing like historic problems. Some say that the last waterman is working the water right now. But COVID-19 also exacerbated some of those problems, especially their economy. So I spent the summer traveling around the different places in the Eastern Shore, documenting watermen, listening to their stories, and the whole essay is kind of about what's the future for these people who are working the bay.
how nice was it to have a summer? Did you have other assignments going on, and you just fit this stuff, these self-assigned aspects of this into your schedule, or was this something?
Yes and no. Like I was given like weekly photo assignments to document like scientists or different like environmental conservancies, but I really just had to like force myself to go out on all of my free time to document this. And I think I like clocked in 110 hours of overtime for this essay. But yeah, like it was just kind of when I had a chance out on assignment to grab something, or when I had days off, I was just traveling to the Eastern Shore.
You could probably a lot of the stuff that you were working on as assignment based from them giving you assignments could pigeonhole with a lot of this as well, probably.
Indeed, especially with stuff with like oyster farming. And the thought was maybe to include some more, but really like I trimmed this down a lot from what I had, and it's still pretty long. I don't know.
Too bad your light sucks so bad.
Do you feel like you would one ever go back, or are you done with it? What's your feeling on this whole thing?
So like I'm having like a battle with like Terry Eiler right now, whether or not to continue to go back for my magazine class. So that's like to be determined for that. And like maybe elaborate on like more issues within the Bay. But like where the project stands right now is that it's so like complex and there's so many moving parts to what Waterman face that it's physically impossible for me to get like the most fruitful project in 2.5 months. And to go back, I think I'd want to document more of like the resiliency aspects of what will future Waterman look like. There's a lot of like work being done in oyster aquaculture and even the generational contention between like the old ways versus the new ways. Will Watermen die? No, they need to sustain the seafood industry, but like, what will that person look like? You're seeing a lot of younger people really just like get into the fact of starting their own oyster farms. So I think I'd want to try to find like a resilient like future aspect to add to the story.
So in a way, finding that overall narrative brought down, distilled down to a singular form, right? More focused. Yeah. Geez, this is amazing. This is, as a collection of work, it's great. And I see your pain of trying to figure out, and I see what Terry is saying too, of trying to figure a focus out of how you would create this into a magazine project, or what would be your focus and what would be your essay? What are you trying to say other than a collection of photographs? And I can see what he's talking about, of pitching it together in a way that is, telling a story of something important. What do you have to say? And I mean, there's so much here, so many different routes. I mean, the fishermen with COVID, the state of, fishing industry, there's so many ways you could take this story.
Carl, did you say that there are young outsiders coming in and starting to create their own oyster farms?
Totally, yeah. Like, I think like one of the things that like Watermen, they're very like territorial in the sense that like, this is how we've done it. This is what has worked for us for generations, and this is how it should be. And you're starting to see with aquaculture, it's like, I don't know, like brick and mortar coffee shops and like, I don't know, Echo Park.
No,
like everybody wants to move in and do one.
That's a really positive little sidebar to add to this 2020 issue, something positive and something with a little bit of hope and what have you. So first, you get some beautiful stuff in here, Carl, but I think that might be a really interesting angle to pursue. So just a thought.
Yeah, and just to echo Jack, I mean, I think this is so all-encompassing now. You need to kind of find a particular angle that, I mean, is it a particular family? Is it a multi-generational family that's struggling with, the dad and the granddad have been fishermen all their life, and young Carlin doesn't want to be that. He wants to go off to journalism school kind of stuff.
That's like literally the story of everyone. Like the two kids, the husband and wife sitting inside the crab shanty looking at each other, like their kids literally want to not wake up at 4 a.m. every single day to get crabs.
Exactly.
Carlin, you should, if it's anything like what's in Massachusetts, that's one of the main reasons it might not exist anymore. You should really just consider if you can find a way to look at the generational change and or the hipsters of the ocean with the oyster aquaculture, so on and so forth.
Yeah, this grandkid wants to be a waterman, so there's the future of the industry right there.
And I hate to say this, but you know what I feel like you're missing here is the boat going out into the water. Shop.
Indeed. I was talking with one of my professors about that, and like he mentioned that like he doesn't feel like he gets wet in the essay. This is Stan.
I get wet. I get wet. I don't.
Yeah, like,
I don't have like a the archetypal boat going out by the buoys, kind of, you know, the pulled shot of just the boat and the fisherman going out into the lonely sea, the old man in the sea kind of photograph.
That's true.
These are all, you're all very present on the boat or with these people. There's nothing pulled back.
Yeah. No, like I definitely love to kind of explore this further, because like the more you look at kind of the body of work, you see that like I was really just trying to like cover territory, and like had I been better, well, in hindsight, like had I done this project differently, I would have probably localized it more and gone into more detail, maybe about a specific area, than try to single-handedly document the entire Eastern Shore.
Yeah.
But, you know, lesson learned.
Well, it's an amazing collection of images that builds, that got you into it, and you have them, and you have the ability to fine tune it down if you so want to. And if not, you have these, but you can always fine tune it.
Definitely.
Carlin, I was going to say, if you do go back, one of the things that I think you didn't, that no one saw in mind because of it, was just the recent time, and what you would really benefit from is when the season changes, everything in that community will change because of it. How everything is done, whether it be the type of fishing or how the community hunkers down. And I think that gives you a lot of diversity visually that you otherwise won't get in one season.
Yeah.
Tell Yuja I say hi.
I get it. I'm sick. I'm sorry. I'm super sick.
Welcome to OU. Everyone's sick and trapped inside their little house.
So was this Charlie and Molly working on this edit?
No, it's just Molly, actually.
Molly. So Molly looked at this and was working with Carlin, and, you know, out of the, I think 40-some images, 46 images, you know, pushed it down to a tighter edit of 20. I love this picture. I mean,
Yeah,
how
I do too.
often do you get to be in this spot and see this? It's fascinating to me, especially with this, with the masks. I mean, you think people would normally have masks in an area where you're processing food, but this is a whole different situation.
I think like if there was ever like a place really to like center in on, this would be a great one, because so much of the seafood industry is supported by the H-2B visa program.
Yeah.
And like the biggest irony of the whole thing was that like most of waterman culture is extremely conservative, and like the current administration policy for visa workers doesn't work for their economy at all. So it's just like a world of contradictions out there.
They hinge so
yeah.
much. They hinge so much on migrant labor to come and pick the crabs.
Yeah, and they all do this like at 9 million miles an hour with a smile on their face, and it's like they truly embody the American dream. They come all the way from Mexico, and like they see this as an opportunity to send money back for their families, and the way they talk about just this experience of being American and wanting to be American, it's like they're more patriotic than people who are born here. And you know, how do you even convey that? I think that would be a really cool story to go back
and their whole that's a whole sub story, because they live like in shitholes, right? I mean, the housing.
Well, they have houses like near the crab picking houses, and like they're not the best in the world, but you know,
but they're making it work. But they're making it work, you know, just like the waterman. And they want to be here regardless.
You need a detail of Old Bay.
No, I love this photo.
Yeah, me too.
That right there. That right there.
Oh, it's perfectly framed. It's just,
yeah.
And the colors are just amazing.
I made this photo after watching a YouTube video of Sam Abel talk about microcomposition.
There we go.
That's all right.
It shows.
Can you send that video out?
just YouTube Sam Abel on like one of his lectures. They're like 2-hour YouTube videos, and like I think they're all pretty much the same.
Okay, cool.
I was going to bring that up earlier. There's a lot of Sam Abel going on in a lot of the work that we're seeing tonight. I don't know if anybody else noticed that.
I
But
love this, Carlin.
yeah, it's nice.
Thank you. Wait and compose.
I included this one in,
Yeah,
the,
good for you.
in the weekly gallery, BTW.
There's the red bucket. Sam Abel's
Yeah.
red bucket.
There you go.
Well, look, then the diagonal lines in here are just
Yeah.
all over the place. They're wonderful.
When I first took these series of photos, all the deckhands were laughing at me because they knew that the net of menhaden was just going to come right next to me and splash all over my camera gear, but they didn't say anything. So like after the first round of fish, I was like in the back, like just wiping everything down because, yep, land person.
And you must have gone through a bunch of clothes changes because menhaden is nasty.
Oh man, like I washed the pants and shirt and everything, and it still smelled of fish.
Yeah.
So, yeah, the place I was staying at wasn't too happy.
And the girlfriend is happy too.
Yes, that too.
That too.
Fishing and poultry farms. Those of you will be doing a lot of laundry.
These two dudes, their like skin is like leather, and so I talked with an anthropologist on Smith Island, and like I think talking to anthropologists are like the most insightful human beings when in any like photographic project, like talking about like skin cancer and their skin speaking to like the work that they do, and how like there's this whole culture of people who just like have cancer throughout generations just because they're getting sun charred all day.
Yeah. So COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice work.
that's nice.
It's all their kids' photos that don't want to work crab shaved.
Carl, like that one picture of you that you guys were talking about where you got splashed. Do you have more with layers, kind of like that? Yeah, I love your frame to these, but I was wondering if you had more layered shots.
Like on that boat specifically?
No, that's something I've always struggled with, and there's always a lot in your way when you're on a boat. So I was just curious if you had more layering going on. I know I with it a lot.
I don't think on this boat. The one thing I can say is that like shooting on like dead rises and these like small boats is miserable. Like you just throw like half of your take out just because the light, or you have like poles or lines going out of someone's head. Like, but
Hey Jack, can you just pause for a minute? I love this little fish on the deck right there. That's all bloodied up. More time I spend looking at this, the more I like this frame.
Wonderful.
This
I didn't even
shoot,
see
like,
that.
I have a photo of a guy like waist deep inside the fish, and it's just like hilarious because like they fill the whole deck up to the point where there's not even space for like a person to walk anymore.
Are they inside a net with a boat?
They like go up right next to it, so they take the little skiff up to the pound net, and then by hand they tug it in.
Yeah.
So that they close the fish out, and then they use this net on a crane to scoop it up from the pound net in the water onto the deck of the dead rise.
So no.
No.
Okay.
Did you follow the menhaden boat into the processing facility? Because
Yeah.
That's a photo too of just they shoot these fish out, you know, like at high speed out of a big tube, right?
This particular facility, they shoveled it onto like the fish conveyor belt.
Oh, okay.
So the photo of the guy wiping his face, he was the guy shoveling them in. But they shovel them and they pack them into boxes. they freeze them and they either are used as bait or for omega protein for fish oil.
Huh.
Wow, nice.
Good work.
This is fabulous.
Great work. Great work.